For longtime shoot-'em-up fans, the name Cave is typically well known. They've been around since the early 90s and they've released many well-known classics. One that was a bit controversial upon initial release was Deathsmiles. It was a bullet hell horizontal shoot-'em-up with young witches killing monsters and demons in a gothic-inspired world. It originally released in arcades back in 2007 and then on the Xbox 360 in 2009. The game fared pretty well with critics at the time, but I do remember reading some reviews that criticized the character design, but overall it did seem like a lot of people enjoyed the game. I picked up the limited edition at the time for the 360, and it came with a soundtrack and faceplate, among some extras with the game. Never used any of that stuff, but I did play the hell out of the actual game. I remember really enjoying this one. So when I heard there was going to be a port for current consoles, well, at least the Nintendo Switch and PS4 anyway, I got fairly excited to, get the chance to replay the game. It has been a while. But also, it's not just the first game. It's a compilation of the first two games with all the versions of each game included. So like the home console version, arcade, arranged versions of each game, and it also includes the Mega Black Label version of the first game. The value is there for me, but then I saw, it's only going to be digital in the US, not getting your normal retail release. Now, I do see that Strictly Limited Games is selling it physically, but I really shy away from ordering from those types of companies. So then I find out, like many other releases that are digital only, but might have a limited physical edition from one of those limited print run companies, it most likely has been or is being released physically in Japan or Southeast Asia. So as it turns out, yes, Japan recently got the game in cartridge form for the Switch and a disc for the PS4. And the game is in English. That's the biggest thing for me. It's an option as soon as you boot the game up. You have a few different languages you can choose from and just pick English if that's what you read and speak, and ready to go. I mean, this is a good thing. Deathsmiles 2, Merry Christmas in Hell, wasn't released in English before, and this Japanese copy has the game in English. So this kind of leads me to believe the game that I have is the same copy no matter what region you buy it from, digitally or physically, because just you pick the language and it's the same game. Why wait for it, right? So I bought the game for around $50 physical from Play Asia, which is about $10 more than what it costs digitally. And I feel like I'm fine with that, especially when I'm buying it from, importing it anyway, from an import company. $10 more than what it is digitally. I'm not going to fight or argue about that. Yeah, there's a little bit in shipping costs, depending on how you want it shipped, involved, but I was happy buying it. So what's my thoughts on this collection of games? Do they still hold up? Do I recommend them to, fans of the shoot 'em up genre? Yeah, I do. And I even recommend the game to those who like shoot 'em ups, but are a little hesitant with the bullet hell subgenre. I mean, some people just don't like bullet hell games or they get discouraged. And I feel with this one, there's a lot of replayability here with this game, with the different characters you could select, different endings, and all the different modes. But also, it's a bullet hell game that is very forgiving. In any of the versions on this collection, your character seems like maybe they'll nonstop be getting hit by bullets because it's just crazy on screen. And sometimes, it gets extremely cramped. But your hitbox isn't your full character. It's actually the little heart in the middle of your character. So a bullet clipping by your foot or your head doesn't count as a shot. And even the heart hitbox seems to be a little forgiving as well, only really registering direct hits. So right out of the box on this game, on standard difficulties and settings, I feel more casual players, they'll be able to have some fun and enjoy this hectic shooter. But you can also ramp up the difficulties and other game parameters to make it a little bit more challenging, and even crazy challenging. Choose the higher level ranks when entering levels to make it a little bit more difficult. And in the Mega Black Label version, you don't just have access to the ranks 1, 2, and 3 for the difficulty, but also level 999, which is just ridiculous. In any of the other rank or levels, difficulty types. Typically, I could beat the first level without dying, but on level 999, I die within like the first 5 seconds of the game starting. So level a challenge here, it's available for every type of player. Those who want to breeze through it, or ones who want to be punished. It's a good thing. Got a lot of options. Now, as far as the 2 games that are included go, I mean really 3 with the Mega Black Label. After having replayed them, I do still really enjoy the games, but definitely prefer Deathsmiles 1 over the Christmas-inspired sequel. Nothing against Christmas, I just like the graphics of the first game better. The second one, while pretty interesting and twisted, just didn't seem to have the same charm as the first game. The 3D graphics are okay, but I really like the 2D sprites and the pre-rendered animations and art of the first game. Some of the bosses are just ridiculous in these games, but the first game left more of an impression with the weirdness of it all. It just seemed better fitting in that 2D style over 3D, especially with, you know, some of the changes to character design in the sequel. Now, the second one, it does have more going for it as far as story goes. I mean, it's all pretty similar between the 2 games. These little witches fighting off demons and monsters for one particular reason or another. But in part 2, you fight Satan Claus. Yeah, not Santa Claus, Satan Claus. And it has a few more cutscenes with dialogue between the characters than the first game. So if story and cutscenes are your thing, you know, Deathsmiles 2 does have a little more in that respect. Now, the main reason this collection offers value to me is because of the replayability. The games on this collection each can be finished in about a half hour, which isn't long, but for the style of game, I think that's fine. But if you want to see everything and continue to challenge yourself, there's definitely a lot of hours of gameplay here. I mean, if you want to fight for high score bragging rights, there's an online leaderboard for each of the game's versions as well. So definitely a lot of replayability. Now, I like these games, but also if there was any kind of like strange lag or game breaking or annoying glitches, obviously that would take it out, you know, take me out of it. But I'm happy to report I didn't notice any issues. Playing the game with the Pro controller felt great. Moving the character around was very responsive. It just looked and played extremely well on the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, I'm happy. Definitely happy that this weird series got a new collection for the Nintendo Switch. I love adding these shoot-'em-up releases to my collection of games. I mean, quick pick-up and play titles that have a lot of replayability really hit the spot for me, as sometimes it's just difficult, like, to find time to invest in longer, more involved games. I mean, I still play plenty of other things, but sometimes, man, you just got a quick little sit-down, you want to play a game. I love this kind of stuff. Now, if you want to get a physical copy for yourself, I'll put a link in the comments in the description to Play Asia, where I got it. I'm sure there's other import sites and eBay, you know, probably have it available as well. I just personally like going to Play Asia. I order a lot from them throughout, you know, the years, always getting new stuff from them, always looking for those games that are physical out there and they have English in them, but they weren't physical in the US, so I'm always peeping out what they got going on. Now, it's also available at Strictly Limited Games, and I mean, it's listed to start shipping in a few months, but I do feel with the standard copy, nothing but the packaging will be different, as this version's already in English. So, hey guys, really do appreciate you hanging out with me on this one, talking a little Deathsmiles. Let me know what you think. You enjoy this game? Are you looking forward to grabbing it? Have you already grabbed it? Catch you on the next one. Bye!